Okay, so welcome to session 5, the final session in this short course. This is going to be a little bit intense. This is going to need watching a few times from the course, and hopefully we're able to finish it within the 2 sessions. This material will also be covered in a future course if we so need it, if we want to look at kind of more advanced handling of data, because for this course we're trying to introduce the basics using this Roi analysis, but there are so much more things that we can do. We can start to touch on those. This course is to get you into kind of the Labview way of thinking, knowing what things look like and how to follow the data. Any subsequent courses that we may or may not have, we'll touch back on this this kind of session, particularly to kind of get a footing again. Okay, so the one that we're going to be looking at sorry about that. The one that we're going to be looking at is a modification of the Roi analysis. So let's just bring it up. So as you can tell, the back end looks a little bit big from the handout. It's got a similar format for the front panel. We've got our image display, ROI feedback, we have our file path, preload status, but now we have our video file progress too, because one of the things it's going to do is make the video file. We're also handling the files a little bit more correctly by, rather than simply changing it to a grayscale image, which for these data sets is perfectly fine. For certain data sets you actually want to extract the color plane instead, so we have a little drop down here where if we have a red image we can select the data from the red channel, the green channel, etc. We also have a frame per second kind of indicator, and what this is for is for on the video we're going to put overlay the kind of time for each frame. So if you're recording your original data at, let's say, 5 frames per second, we type 5 in here. Let's look at the background. It looks overwhelming, don't worry, we'll step through it. It also looks a little bit scattered. We can group together certain actions. I left it like this so that you can follow it a little bit easier with the wires. All of this original structure, and to some extent some of the things in here, is here so that the files go in the right places. We have to make new folders, and we want to do this. Want to make the program do this. We want to choose our file and then it takes care of the rest. We also have this extra little kind of file extension finder. It's an inbuilt VI, but what we're able to do is use what this thinks the file extension is to not require a filter. So when we choose our file for analysis, if we're just looking at file extension, this would work very well. So all files which have the same file extension as the one that was chosen will be analyzed. This does not work if we have to do a filter first for, let's say, the confocal data is C800. Then we'd have to we'll have to add an extra component there. This is just to show you another way of doing it. So we construct all these folders and file locations, etc. I also have, we're doing the image preloader because this is kind of the level that we're at now. I also have changed what it does in the preloader. Normally it just preloads it to the memory. What we're actually doing here is twofold. We're preloading it to the memory, but we're also renaming and resaving the files. So this right now it's saving them as JPEG, but we haven't applied any compression, so it's basically the same as it is from the TIFF file, etc. It's an uncompressed JPEG is essentially a bitmap. And then we're extracting the color plane rather than dumping it into an 8-bit grayscale memory location. So this is the more correct way extract the color plane. So then what we do is we save all of these. So these are now getting named how we want, so that in the final analysis folder we have a clean set of data. It's not modifying any of the original data. All it's doing is renaming it and changing its file extension if it's not JPEG. This will give you a clean set of data for easier analysis later on. And since we have to open all the images anyway, it's a good time to do this. But we flow through this data that's been preloaded. We then do our ROI analysis on it, and we're using similar, change global rectangle VI, the same ROI analysis thing, with the same file writing as last time. We're writing the spreadsheet. But this time, when we're outputting, we're not going to do like the false color overlay. This time we're going to make a video. Ooh. That looks strange. Graphics card failing. So this section over here makes the video file, but one of the things that's nice in your video file is to have an overlay of what kind of time section you're in. So what we're doing here is we're constructing a simple time constant created from what we said our frames per second is, and we're overlaying it and writing it on top of the image before we make the movie. So I'll quickly demonstrate how it works. So we run the VI as normal. Choose our file. And choose this one. Looks interesting. And right now it's set that it will analyze all files that have the same file extension. So we're just going to look for all JPEGs. And here's a good example of what happens. By default, the VIs are set to not overwrite data unless it's a high-level VI. So this is a low-level VI. So it's saying, look, I can't do what you're asking because this already exists. So if that ever happens, you hit stop, you figure out where it is. If this is data that you want to keep, save it elsewhere. If it's just a previous run that wasn't particularly good, then you can just delete it out. Experiments 4. Okay. It says I've got it open. Let's do this. Okay. You don't normally have to go that far down. I don't know why I was being so picky, but anyway, let's try that again. Let's run it. Choose our file path. This one. That's okay. And this image starts preloading as we're going. While we're doing that, we can kind of decide where we want to put our ROI square. Let's kind of put it over here. We also need to decide on what color plane we're going to extract. Right now it's set to green, which these are color images, so there should be data in each of the channels. We can choose whichever we want. Let's say we're running at 5 frames per second. And then once we're sure with that, this is the live view, so if we move this, you should notice this changes in real time. And then we hit ROI OK, and this will chunk through the video, make your video of all of this data. Okay, and you'll notice now that you've got this new folder. It'll be in the parent location where the images are. So we chose an image from within this folder. So that file structure at the front says go up 1, which is here, and then make a new folder, which is this one, and this is where we start putting our data. So we have a new images folder, which are renamed, so IMG with 0 padded file names for all of the files in the original. That's the only thing that's changed, so that it's easier to kind of look at these at a later time. the data file as previously. It's a big text file with 4 columns in. And now you have a vid file, and we can just drop that onto VDub. And we have this overlay for the timing. It's done in milliseconds. We'll show you how to change this. As you can see, this is kind of dark because there's not much in that green channel. So what we can do is close this. This isn't much good to us because we're on the green channel. I think we actually probably would be better if we chose the red channel. Red channel. Okay, but everything else is the same, so we can just hit go. Depending on how many files you have in the folder, depends on how long it takes to do this. Right now it takes so long because it's remaking all of the images. We can disable that function whenever you want to, or if you choose something else we can switch it off, but it's there just as a demonstration of what you can do. We'll make the video again. Okay, and then once again this folder reappears. Everything else is as it was. Let's open this one. Video again. Okay, so that's much better. So we run it. We can see like we would normally see, but we now have this millisecond counter in the corner. And everything's customizable: position, size, color, etc., etc. So there we have it. This is kind of the final goal for this set of sessions. It's going to get a little bit hectic today, and there's going to be questions, but you might just have to go through and watch the class a couple of times because there's going to be sections which get problematic. One of the issues that always kind of pops up, and it pops up whether you're used to it or not, is kind of the file handling section, and it always gets kind of waffly. Now, if you accidentally, wire the wrong strip path or build path the wrong way around, things end up in the wrong folders. But these are trial and error based operations. We can only try to get it right the first time, but most of the time we have to make modifications on the fly. Okay, well, I will go through it in the class. Thank you for watching.